Hey there everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Caitlin, your geeky girlfriend, and I'm coming to you on a Saturday morning in my pajamas before I've showered or gotten ready for the day, because that's what this channel is for me. This channel is just an outlet. This channel is a way for me to put my thoughts and opinions out into the world, and I just thank you all for being here. So I am always trying to be real and vulnerable and honest. And so this is what a Saturday morning looks like for me. It looks like me in my pajamas doing some reading. And so today I'm going to give you a review of the book I just completed, which is number 8. And I think I misspoke in my last video. I said it was going to be number 9, but for some reason my Goodreads is off. It's counting a children's book and that I read based on something, from my Amazon list. And so it says that I've read 8, but in actuality, or it says I've read 9, but in actuality, I've only read 8 novels. And this one, Suicide Notes from Beautiful Girls, is number 8. And I picked this up kind of on a whim. Didn't really know that much about it. I read the back, was intrigued. This is a young adult thriller mystery suspense. Like, it hits all those. I would say it's a psychological thriller because it does kind of mess with your head, especially in the end. I think with the very end, there are multiple ways that a reader could interpret what happens at the end. And I read it and finished it last night and had one idea of the ending. And then this morning, after I woke up, I was like, oh, you know what? This is probably what actually happened. So I think it's one of those where it could go either way, and you can choose to believe what you believe. I don't want to say too much about the characters or anything because it'll definitely give it away what happens, but essentially this book follows June, and she finds out that her ex-best friend has died, and she starts to hear rumors that it might not have been a suicide, and so she kind of starts to dig into it a little bit, and then is very shocked at what she finds out, and then kind of gets herself wrapped up and some other things. So it does have some similar elements of Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Good as Blood, or As Good as Dead, and all of those. It kind of has some similar elements of that whole series. And if you have not read The Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, I do have separate reviews for all 3 of those novels as well, so you can go check those out. I read this one really fast. I read it pretty much in a week. I finished it last night, and I think I started it on I can look at my reading tracker here. I started it on February 28th, so, which was last Wednesday. So yeah, I read it in just over a week. It took me about 10 days to read it, and that was with some days reading a lot, some days not reading so much. But without showing you any of the text or anything, you can see that the font is pretty large and the chapters are really, really short, which makes it an easy and quick read. And again, it is young adult, or it was written to be a young adult novel. However, it's young adult in the sense that the characters are high school age. It is very adult in other aspects, though. There is a lot of language, a lot of explicit sexual content, and references to drug and alcohol use by minors. So keep all that in mind when you're picking this book up. If any of those things are not your forte, then maybe pass on that one. There are also some things like there are explicit references, but they're not big themes in the book to abortion, sexual assault, and like just death in general. Obviously, the book is called Suicide Notes from Beautiful Girls, so when you go into it, you kind of expect references of suicide or death. I gave this book a 4-star rating on Goodreads. When I did it on Storygraph, I gave it about a 4.25. The ending was a big twist, and I was not expecting the ending. There also was a pretty pivotal point about halfway through, which is marked as the climax, that was very unexpected. But I don't know, there were parts of it that given that the characters were high school, there were parts of it that just didn't seem realistic, but then I had to remind myself that there probably are teenagers living the way that some of the characters live in this book, and it's just hard for me to kind of wrap my brain around, but I think it is possible. And it just didn't, like, I just didn't feel like, because the only book that I've rated 5 stars this year is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder #2, Good Girl, Bad Blood. That one, it left me on the edge of my seat. I was consistently, like, guessing and being surprised. And not that I wasn't surprised repeatedly during this one. There was just something about it that just, like, just was meh to me. And I don't know if it was the language. I don't know if it was some of the, like, you know, the references to abortion, all that just doesn't sit well with me. I don't know. I don't know what it was about it. It just did not, it was not like a 5-star book. And the other reason is that there were a couple of times when I was reading it, not even super late at night, like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I was dozing off a little bit. So anytime a book kind of lulls me and it's not keeping my attention and it's not keeping my heart rate up, then it's gonna, like, go down in star for me. So I think that's why it was 4 stars, because it just didn't, like, fully keep my attention the entire time. But otherwise, we are 1/3 of the way through the book challenge for 2024. I've already got my next book picked out. We're actually going to start meeting for book club again, so I've got my next book picked out, and I have to have that one read, like, in a pretty quick, it's going to have a pretty quick turnaround because somebody is borrowing it after me, so that's going to be something new where I have to, like, have it read so I can give it to somebody else. So I do have a little bit more of a timeline on the next book, and so you guys can look forward to another video in this series here pretty soon. But I just had a few minutes. I wanted to jump on and give this review. And thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments your thoughts of this book, if you've read it or if you're going to add it to your TBR. I like to do these videos so that way people can. I know a lot of people are on Goodreads, and you can find me over there at Caitlin McClure. And, you know, I know whenever somebody is saying, like, oh, I read this really good book, I immediately go into Goodreads and type that into my want to read, even if I don't know a ton about it, and then I'll, like, decide for myself later if it's something that I want to read or not. So my goal for these videos is just to put information about the books out there in a spoiler-free way, so you can decide if you want to try and pick up this book or get it from your library or whatever. I recently did get a library card, so that is super exciting. So a lot of the books on my want to read list, if there's something on my shelf that's just not really striking me, then I can just order something from the library. So I'm really excited to start using that community resource. But yeah, so let me know if you have read this book, if you agree with my thoughts of this book, if you disagree. I didn't actually read any other reviews of this when I was picking it up, or even when I finished. I didn't read any other reviews. But I hope everybody has a great week, a great weekend whenever you're watching this video. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, evening, month, year, and that everything is going great for you. And I hope that you are finding time to do the things that you enjoy, which is why I've been reading so much lately. It is a great way to just relax my mind and reset and just kind of take time for myself. It's the one thing that I've been consistently choosing for me time. And I hope you are doing the same, and I'm hoping you're taking care of yourself. And thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you guys soon in the next video. Bye-bye.